First, I absolutely love Jedi Survivor. As a massive fan of both Star Wars and Souls-like games, it's gotta be my game of the year so far, which will probably change when the new Zelda drops. With all of that said, I was running around Koboh, the first major explorable planet in Jedi Survivor, and ran into a horrible three-eyed frog that seemed somewhere between terribly unbalanced and completely broken. I remember this boss being fine, if not easy, in the first game, but this was just bad. After beating the mini-nightmare, I knew I couldn't have been the only one who took a longer than expected ride on the struggle bus. So I looked online and found several articles about how this mean frog has been one of the most rage-inducing things in all of gaming since Jedi Survivor launched. So I wanted to take a quick look at why this fight is so painful and what the safest method of beating this boss one-on-one might be. So first, what makes this frog suck so hard? In short, almost everything. The frog's damage output makes no sense compared to everything else in the area. If it doesn't one-shot you, it will likely two-shot you, as the first hit often leads to an unavoidable second. The tongue grab is instant death, unless you come back later with a gigantic health bar. Luckily, that is one of the easier attacks to avoid with a double jump. The boss also has virtually no recovery frames, even after its longer, unblockable attacks. Typically, this is where you'd expect a nice punish window, but not here. It can even chain its horrible charge attack into other different unblockable attacks, so don't get used to parrying after unblockable attacks either. The charge attack I just mentioned also has a massive delay, baiting you to dodge early and get caught while recovering. And quick sidebar, delayed attacks are stupid. No combatant, human, animal, monster, or demon frog would intentionally delay an attack and allow itself to be injured or killed with the hope that it could brush off the attack and have its own attack opportunity afterwards. Baiting a player attack is one thing. This is different. So I hope we've established that delayed attacks are dumb. Almost as dumb as the way this frog moves when it's not attacking. Like almost every modern video game boss, positioning and spacing are really important. But when a boss's movements can disconnect from its animations and it can pivot instantly like it's on a rotating platform, good luck coming in at the proper angle. You can think you're in a good position only to walk headfirst into an attack. The only Star Wars character I can think of that should be able to move like this is BB-8, because he's a gyroscope. The other major problem with the frog's movement is this. At any moment, the frog can leap up into the air and reposition. That on its own is fine. Margit does it all the time in Elden Ring, and Margit is a fantastic early game boss that helps show players the skills they'll need throughout the rest of the game. But Margit sits in a properly sized arena and doesn't frequently get his repositioning jump interrupted by the ceiling and fall right back on top of the player. This frog is so mismatched with its own arena, it feels like playing an Elden Ring randomizer where you get the fire giant on Margit's bridge. Again, good luck keeping proper positioning. Finally, this boss feels like it was designed for a different combat system. The mixed frequency and speed of unblockable attacks makes parrying and breaking posture possible, but really annoying. And whenever I did break its posture, it was hardly worth the effort. The size of the boss and its attack range don't work well with the short distance traveled on your quickstep either. There are some attacks where you can't quickstep far enough back to get away, and your second dodge after has no invincibility frames and a long recovery, so you'll definitely get hit. You might think, I've played enough video games, it must want me to quickstep through the attack so I can punish the demon frog on the side. Well, good luck with that. Your quickstep is too short to consistently get to the frog side, and even if you do, it can still hit you while you're recovering from the dodge or just magically pivot as described earlier, so you're practically in its mouth. It's a shame because I do love this combat system. When fighting humanoid enemies and bosses, it feels incredible, like a dance going back and forth with enemies until you finally break them. It reminds me of Sekiro in that way, which has one of the best combat systems ever created. Against this frog, though, it feels like you brought the wrong tools for the job. Just briefly, there are other things wrong with the fight too, like the boss's audio frequently cutting out so you can't use audio cues when the boss jumps out of view. The hitboxes are also horrible. There's not much less satisfying than seeing an attack whiff on screen before your eyes, only to have your character take full damage. But let's talk about a safe way to beat the Spawn of Satan. Oggdo. I tried parrying and breaking posture, I tried keeping up the aggression in a DPS battle for the ages. In the end, it wasn't all that bad just by leaning on the lightsaber throw. This is a skill you start with that carries over from the first game. While blocking, hit the top face button to hurl your spinning saber forward at your foe. This does use force, but you always regenerate just enough force to throw your saber one more time. I would recommend having the upgrade that fills your force meter when you heal, but it's not necessary. I didn't have it for this fight, but I wish I did simply because it would have made the fight go faster. I suppose you could use blaster stance here too, but if you're saving this boss for later when you're more powerful, you might not require such a safe strategy anyways. Keeping your distance and fighting a ranged battle does eliminate a lot of the nonsense I just described. You really just need to watch out for the unblockable attacks. In Phase 1, this is mostly just the charge attack. When you see him turn red, don't immediately dodge or you will die. Instead, sprint away to create a little extra distance and then double jump back over the boss. In Phase 1, you can also throw your lightsaber almost whenever you feel like it. And you can parry his consistent small bites to refill your force meter if you want to, but not required. In Phase 2, he does his random jump attacks and adds a quick unblockable bite attack. He also walks faster and generally attacks more often. For the unblockable bite attack, don't immediately dodge or again, you will die. Instead, sprint away just like before and then dodge if you need to. The sprinting away creates a lot more space and provides a little extra time to get the dodge right. Phase 2 does have more limited attack windows. I had the most consistent success waiting until after the tongue attack, the acid spit attack, or immediately after the 2-bite combo. Don't wait too long here though, because he can go directly into the tongue attack and one-shot you if you're not careful. In Phase 3, the boss simply ups the aggression one more time while adding a new AoE attack where he jumps towards you and lands, launching a damaging wave of dust? Luckily, this one is fairly easy to avoid with a double jump as well. He also adds a 4-bite blockable combo. If you have enough space, you can still safely throw your saber at him after the second bite and not get hit by the remaining bites. After a couple of tries, you'll get into a rhythm and take this bad frog down. Ah! I am never gonna play that fight again. That was so terrible. Oh my goodness.
Judging me.
The reward will totally be worth it, because you get a poncho, like from the first game. And Cameron Monaghan loves ponchos, it's a thing from the marketing. Anyways, let me know if you have another strategy that took the frog down easy, like force pulling the heavies above down into the frog's arena and comfortably watching the death battle from afar, but preferably other options where you fight the boss. Let me know what other bosses you'd like to see broken down in exhaustive detail, and if you enjoyed this video, consider giving it a like and subscribing to the channel. Thanks for watching. Alright, I did my part. How you doing over there?